are still doing preamble. And we have talked about sovereignty, socialist, secularism. Then I have talked about democratic, then republic. Then we have also talked about justice. Right? कल आप लोग बाद में सवाल के क्लास के बाद पूछ रहे थे सर इकोनॉमिक जस्टिस का क्या मतलब है, पॉलिटिकल जस्टिस का क्या मतलब है. यू आस्क क्वेश्चन विद इन द क्लास, राइट? दैट विल बी बेनिफिट. माइक आवाज नहीं जा रही क्या? नॉट ऑडिबल. क्यों? ओह वेट, यस यस, am I audible now? Yeah. Hi, Amber, others, Anonymous, Damanpreet, Krishma, Abhay, Athira, others, Sakshi, Shubham, Rishabh, Nitin, Lal Soranga. Right? Lal Soranga, yeah. प्रिंस आया है? नहीं? ओके. शैली? यू आर देयर. आकृति? नो. अवनी? नो. देन सिल्की, अनंत्य, यू आर देयर. हेबोटो, एबोटो, यू आर देयर. ओके. ऋषि, महेश, यू आर ऋषि. वैशाख, वैशाख नहीं आया है आज? ठीक है. देन वो क्या है? लालते, लालते इज देयर आई थिंक. देन सोहित, यू आर सोहित. ओके. सुधीर, हर्षित, वरद, यू आर वरद. Lebon, Levin, Lovens, Lobzan, okay. Lobzan, okay. Prajakta, कौन है प्राजक्ता? आप हो. ठीक है. पुष्पाचा, you are there, okay. एक क्या है? CHAR, चारुका, okay. चारुका. Okay. Soria, you are there. Rupam.
Yes, sir.
Astha. Then Shubham. आपका नाम नहीं इसमें? सौरभ. अच्छा सौरभ आपका ही नाम है सर. सौरभ. यस है इसमें. किसी का नाम छूटा हो तो आप अपना नाम लिखिए. Write your name and phone number. We talked about justice. You know, I have given you notes on historical background, making of India's constitution also, and the preamble also. Please distribute among themselves, right? और कुछ अपना knowledge apply ना करे तो better है. किसी ने secularism को दो भाग बांट दिया, negative secularism and positive secularism. There is no such concept exists in that entire world. If it does, then show me. Right? If you have read somewhere, then use it. Otherwise, don't use it. Fine? Answer मेरे पास आया ना? बहुत लोगों ने तो आंसर लिखा ही नहीं. Write it. Write answer. It's better do today rather than tomorrow. Then we talked about liberty. Was liberty clear? Liberty clear था कुछ? Right? Now we need to talk about equality. Yeah? we need to talk about equality. How can we define the term equality? How can we define the term equality?
Absence of special privilege.
Absence of a special privilege, okay?
Treating everyone as one.
Then
Treating everyone as one.
treating everyone equal, no?
Equal.
One.
As one.
Yeah. So absence of a special privileges, treating everyone equal, yes, again, more.
No discrimination on the basis of
Non-discrimination, very good. Non-discrimination. Right? Then impartial. Impartial. Okay. Then do you find equality in the society? Even किसी ने कहा स्पेशल प्रिविलेज नहीं देना चाहिए. अगर कोई आपके पास डिफरेंटली एबल पर्सन है, you won't give a special privilege, right? Treating everyone equal. Should a man be treated as equal as woman?
Other
In some context, yes. In some,
Sorry?
In particular context, yes.
Hi.
In some context, no.
No. Yeah, exactly. Depends on the context. Fine. Good. Good. So equality with difference, that you can say.
Equal distribution of resources in the society.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, do you find equality in the society, or is it that inequality is the truth,
Inequalities.
or is it equality which is truth? It is the inequality which is truth. You can see there are unnumbers of inequality in terms of wealth, in terms of region, in terms of access to resources. There are inequality on the basis of gender, language, nationality, race, etc., etc. Right? Then why do we talk about equality? If inequality is the case in the society, why do we talk about equality? Any idea? We talk about equality.
Yes, yes.
Why is it so?
Welfare.
Why is it enshrined in Indian Constitution, especially in Preamble? Yeah.
Welfare of the society.
Yeah, welfare of the society. Fine. Is it that we talk about equality or justice? All that word we talked about, justice, equality, liberty, all are normative concepts. पता है नॉर्मेटिव कॉन्सेप्ट का क्या मतलब होता है?
Based on norm.
नहीं, नॉर्म्स का मतलब ठीक है, बेस्ड ऑन की व्हाट ऑट टू बी. राइट? व्हाट हमें करना क्या चाहिए? सो वी डिजायर इक्वालिटी. ऑफ कोर्स इफ यू लुक एट द सोसाइटी देयर आर n numbers of inequality. But what we desire for equality. Right? We are talking about what it is. This is what is when we talk about practical things. Right? Experimental, empirical things. Right? But when we talk about हमें करना क्या चाहिए? What ought to be done? Right? Then there are many philosophers who talks about that no, we should go for equality. right? Why we should go for equality? There are many philosophers who talks about, okay, it's fine, there are numbers of inequality, on the basis of race, caste, gender, wealth, so and so forth. But what is the minimum basic identity of all of us? That is, we all are human beings. And we are equal in worth, in dignity, in self-respect, right? And that's why all human beings are equal in their worth, right? And maybe I may be a very rich person, and someone may be a very poor person, right? But it is a difference in income, in wealth, but not difference in कि मेरे पास 4 हाथ है and he has only 2. No, right? We all are human beings and we all have equal moral worth. Maybe some person may be different than you, may different look like you, may does not look like you, but they can understand the pain, love, happiness same as you can. Everyone can feel the pain, isn't it? Right? And that pain is equal. Everyone is happy sometimes, right? Pain and pleasure, these are the 2 components of the life, isn't it? So, all human beings have equal moral worth, and that's why they should be equal, right? And equality, you have rightly defined, it is the absence of special privileges, treating equal, non-discrimination, impartial, right? If you look at our history, no, did we achieve equality? No, but somehow we achieved. But we have not achieved equality that we desire. For example, we did not achieve gender equality, right? But at least the Constitution gives guarantee, that all are equal. Fine? So we are a human being and we have desire, right? And what desire do we have? We do have some normative desire, right? क्या होना चाहिए, किस तरह से होना चाहिए, and all we talk about justice क्या है, वो भी normative था, right? Got the idea? अच्छा, तो empirical क्या है? Empirical कौन सा concept है? Power, authority, so all practical, empirical. I don't have authority, but police wala has authority to beat you up, but I don't have authority to beat you up. Got the idea? ठीक है? तो equality is a normative concept, and philosophers have argued that being human, we all have equal moral worth, right? All human beings are equal. Fine? So all are equal in their dignity and self-respect. लिखोगे इतना इसको? लिखिए. Right? Equality is a normative concept. Equality is a normative concept. It is a fact that there are inequality. It is the fact that there is an inequality in terms of race, caste, gender, religion, nationality, and so on. But there is some common identity. There are some common identity that all human beings have equal moral worth, and dignity. equal moral worth and dignity. Clear? Yeah, Pooja, Bhaumik, Nitin, Chaturvedi, Lal Choranga, Krishma, Rishabh, Sakshi. Clear? Equality refers to absence of special privileges and principle of non-discrimination. Equality refers to absence of special privileges and principle of non-discrimination. ठीक है? Now, if you talk about equality, there are three perspectives, right? If you talk about equality, there are three perspectives. One is called liberal perspective. Another is called socialist perspective, or you can call Marxist perspective. And third is called feminist. You know, liberal talks about two types of equality. You know, अच्छा ये लिबरल है कौन? जो लिबर्टी में बिलीव करता है, इंडिविजुअल लिबर्टी, कल ही बताया था, इंडिविजुअल लिबर्टी और इंडिविजुअलिज्म। Absence of external interference. हमें किसी का interference नहीं चाहिए. Individual is a rational man, right? Man is a rational being, and they can be the best judge of his own interest. Fine. Now, there are two types of equality. One is equality of opportunity. Equality of opportunity, and then equality before the law. Now you can find these two equality is there in Indian Constitution. Equality of opportunity, Article 16, and equality before law is the Article क्या है? 14. Yeah. Very good. Now, socialist believes in social equality, social and economic equality. So, socialists believe in social and economic equality. अच्छा, feminists क्या believe करती हैं? Equality with difference. Equality with difference. Why difference? Because naturally there is some difference between man and woman, right? तो ऐसा नहीं कि सब खड़ा है बस में तो आप बोले वुमन भी खड़ा रहो, क्यों? इक्वालिटी है भाई. होता है ना, बस में बहुत लोग रगड़ मिल जाते हैं और मेट्रो में you can see they don't vacate seat to women. For women, oh, we all are modern, we all are equal, this is a democracy, right? So since women are claiming for equality, उनको भी खड़ा रहना चाहिए. They should be stand up in the metro. Do you find such kind of person? There are many people who doesn't allow women to sit, right? Then आप जब कभी लाइन में जाओगे तो बोले अच्छा लाइन में आप भी लगो मैडम, सब बराबर है यहाँ पर. फाइन. ओके, कल मैंने वेकेशन के बारे में बताया कि if man is getting 26 days working and 4 days leave, women should get only the same and should be no, right? So they talked about equality with difference, right? They need equality but with little difference. Fine. Now if you talk about how to achieve equality, for socialists also वो बोलेगा revolution करो. कैसे इक्वालिटी अचीव करना है? थ्रू रेवोल्यूशन. There are another way socialists will say, no, their democratic means should be also democratic socialism. Democratic means also there is a way to achieve socialism. अच्छा, liberals कैसे equality achieve करना है? Through democracy, through constitution. Right? Through democratic socialism, democratic means. Through democratic means. Right? For example, if you look at India, India applied democracy but mixed economy. It did not go for the new open economy. Here you see democracy and constitution, the one way to achieve equality. There are another way to achieve equality, right? Because they also influenced by these socialists, and they said no, we cannot go for equality of opportunity and equality before the law. You know, there are philosophers who talked about no, you cannot treat equally all. You know, because there are socio-economic conditions different. Right? For example, should I give you example? Yes. There is one example that any person who studied in an English school of Delhi and one person has get education in Chhattisgarh, a very hinterland of Chhattisgarh. Right? Can you equate to these two persons when they come to admission in University of Delhi? Should university treat equally these two persons? Philosopher will say no. Pure liberal will say no. Yes, you should treat equally because those both are individual, and you should not go for the discrimination. But there are another set of people, liberals like social liberals, who said no, you should go for discrimination. Why? Because you should consider the socio-economic background of that people. Right? Think about a person who's secured only one. There's a two person, A and B. B is from Chhattisgarh, but secured only 84%. A is from Delhi, studied in very elite education and got 98%. सोशल लिबरल विल से किसको देना है एडमिशन? अगर मान लो एक ही सीट है तो किसको सीट एडमिशन देना है? सोशल लिबरल सीट. हाँ एग्जैक्टली. ऐसा नहीं कि लिबरल्स आर द लिबरल्स, दे हैव बीन इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय द सोशलिस्ट आइडिया. राइट? फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर मान लीजिए कि यहाँ पे पूरा कॉन्टेक्स्ट थोड़ा सा, मान लीजिए बी कोई कम्युनिटी से, मान लीजिए कि एससी कम्युनिटी से है फॉर एग्जांपल, और एसटी कम्युनिटी है, और ए जनरल कम्युनिटी से है, और कॉलेज है एसआरसीसी. यू नो एसआरसीसी में 99% एडमिशन होता है, यू ऑल नो. कॉलेज है एसआरसीसी, एडमिशन ऑलरेडी हो चुके हैं, जनरल कोटा फुल हो चुका है, देयर इज ओनली वन सीट एंड सीट इज फॉर एसटी, कोटा है. राइट? अब ये दो और लोग हैं, ए और बी है, किसको मिलेगा? बी को मिलेगा. राइट? किस कंसिडरेशन पे मिलेगा? सोशियो इकोनॉमिक कंसिडरेशन. एंड दे टॉक्ड अबाउट, ये जो पूरा है इट्स कॉल्ड अफर्मेटिव एक्शन. They said, state should go for affirmative action to equalize the society. We will talk about affirmative action when I teach you Article 17 separately. Everybody? So this is the idea of equality. Got the idea?
Yes.
Right? Here they talked about equity. So social liberals talks about equity. For example, अगर मुझे एग्जांपल मांगोगे, have you heard about Amartya Sen? Amartya Sen, he talks about equity, affirmative action. He is a developmentalist. He is a social liberal. Do you know Abhijit Banerjee?
Yes, sir.
Recently he got a Nobel Prize. He falls in this category. But in this category, do you know Jagdish Bhagwati? Anyone? Arvind Panagria? Have you heard of Arvind Panagria? He was the first vice president of Niti Aayog. He will fall in this category. Right? But Amartya Sen, Abhijit Banerjee, people like him will fall in this category. Right? They will promote affirmative action. They will promote equity rather than equality. Right? So there is a division within the liberal equality. समझ में आया?
Yes.
थोड़ा बहुत,
Yes.
right? अच्छा, preamble में equality के बारे में क्या है? Equality of status and dignity. Right? This is a basic equality that Indian Constitution strives for. Apart from it, there are equality in fundamental right. You know, right to equality. Article 14 to Article 18. Apart from them, उसके बाद Article 325, universal adult franchise. That is also equality, na? Each has all right, you know, all are equal. ये समझ में आया? Equality अलग-अलग version, different version of equality. अच्छा, got the idea? Now चलो और preamble में थोड़ा सा बात करते हैं. Preamble talks about equality of status and dignity. और कुछ भी है क्या? Equality of opportunity भी है. Preamble में क्या क्या है? Do you have preamble? Bare Act. Bare Act. Equality of status and of opportunities. And of opportunity. यहाँ पे opportunity की बात है. Equality of opportunity. Right? When you talk about fundamental right and other, you know, equality in the Indian Constitution, you have right to equality. What is the article? Article 14 to Article 18. Huh? And apart from where Article 325, it's also about equality. Universal adult franchise. Franchise. Got the idea? Now we will talk about next idea, which is fraternity. The meaning of fraternity in Indian politics. Got the idea? Little bit. Next we will talk about further detail. समझ में आया? Yes, did you get the idea? Fine. Now come to fraternity. What do you mean by fraternity? Fraternity brotherhood कैसे होगा? फिर फीमेल कहाँ गई? फीमेल को छोड़ दोगे तुम लोग फिर? ब्रदरहुड बोल रहे हो आप? Then where is woman? Is woman part of your brotherhood? Right? Is it not a masculine representation of your language? Like you say Murmu as India's Rashtrapati. Is it not masculine representation of your language? Fraternity means क्या?
Harmony, together.
No, fraternity means, have you heard about Mitta? Anyone from Maharashtra? Anyone from Maharashtra? What's the meaning of mitta? You don't know? Meet, maybe pronunciation different. Meet, mitta. There is many people whose name is mitta. Meet. Meet Hindi में जान दो. Meet.
Meet those.
Meet dost, yeah. Fellow. Fellow. I'm your fellow. Right? I'm your fellow Indian. That is fraternity. Fine? So, meet means friendshipness. Or fellowness. ये brotherhood नहीं है, Egyptian brotherhood. Right? And you know, when you say fraternity and assuring the dignity of individual, right? Why fraternity is needed to Indian context, in Indian polity? If you look, yeah,
A diverse country and
Very
it
good.
is necessary.
very good. Yeah. Why do we need fraternity? Fraternity for unity. Very good. Yeah, she said we need fraternity because India is a diverse country. It is a multicultural country, right? Multi-ethnic society. So we need fellowness, right? आप किसी को देख के बिहारी ना बोलना शुरू करो, right? That's common, na? That you pronounce it Chinky, Bihari, this, Bhaiya, right? You reduces an individual to a stigmatized individual, right? You attach a stigma to the individual, right? That you should not do, or one should not do, right? When you call Indian, then you consider other your fellow rather than it will harm your fraternity. Right? When you consider we all are Indian, then you consider someone as your fellow Indian. Right? Rather than किसी को कुछ बोल दिया, किसी को कुछ बोल दिया. होता नहीं है प्रैक्टिस में? खूब होता है. खूब होता है. Anyway, now, so why fraternity is needed? Because India is a multi-ethnic, multicultural society. India is a diverse country. There is a diversity. What are the other regions? Yeah, किसी ने कहा unity. Yeah, very good. To promote unity. Why should we should क्वेश्चन भी लिख सकते हो, क्वेश्चन के बाद आंसर लिखोगे तो पता नहीं चलेगा. Why do we need fraternity? Because India is a diverse country. India is a multicultural, multinational, multi-religious, multilingual society, multi-racial society, right? And then to achieve unity, right? What about to address inequality? Do we need fraternity or not? Right? To address inequality, do we need fraternity or not? Right? Do you know caste system?
Yes.
What is caste system? How can briefly just summarize what is caste system?
So hierarchy in a society based on the caste.
Hierarchy of hierarchy
Hierarchy in our society based on the caste.
based on the caste. A 9-year-old child, took water from his teacher's pot, and teachers beaten him in such a way that he died after 14 days of the teacher's beating. Is it fraternity or is it against fraternity? Right? There are several laws. There are several laws to bring equality and fraternity. Can we bring equality and fraternity with the law? We can make law, we can legislate in the parliament, but can we legislate our mind? Can you make law in your mind? No. There are lots of law which says treat woman equal as a man. But does it happen? No. Right? He has rightly pointed out, right, the caste is a hierarchy. Hierarchy of mind. Let me tell you, hierarchy of mind rather than society. Reflect on society, fine. आपके दिमाग में पहले है कि मैं सुपीरियर हूँ और ये इंफीरियर है. Right? But Ambedkar talked about graded inequality. Graded inequality. Right? And it is not that, a Brahmin carries Brahmanism. What is a Brahmanism? Brahmanism is also about hierarchy, about superiority and inferiority. Right? What is patriarchy? Patriarchy is also based on hierarchy, superiority and inferiority. Male is superior than female. Right? It resides in mind first, then it comes in the action. Otherwise ऐसा नहीं होता तो कभी सास बहू से नहीं लड़ती. Right? बहू से इसलिए लड़ रही होती है. Do we worship mother or not? Huh? No. Yes. Yes. I say no. We should not worship mother. We should give respect. We should give respect. Right? But worshipping क्या होता पता है कि when मान लीजिए कि कोई फैमिली है, फैमिली में झगड़ा हो रहा है, A and B. A is a male, B is a female. दोनों में झगड़ा हो रहा है. A पीट रहा है किसको? B को. Domestic violence is a common one. Let me tell you. इसका देख कौन रहा है? इसका बच्चा. मान लीजिए C. He is also a baby boy. ये क्या करता है? देखता है कौन पीट रहा है मुझे? मेरे मम्मा को. कहाँ पे साइड ले गए? मदर को. And लेता है. Of course, through culture teaches us to worship mother, especially the culture of the East, not the West. Eastern India, not the Western India. It gives priority to father. It gives priority to father. For example, Savarkar understood India as a Pitra Bhumi. But if you see the Bande Mataram, as put it in Anand Manth by Bankim Chand Chatterjee, he portrayed India as a Mata. Now, अब होगा क्या? C जब मैरी करेगा किससे? C भी अपना बीवी लाएगा, D, राइट? और सास बहू में फिर से झगड़ा होगा BC में, ये क्या करेगा? किसका साथ देगा? मदर को साथ देगा, जो अपने बच्चे को, अपने बीवी को पीटेगा. Because that something is in mind. This happens. क्योंकि इसने कल्चर देखा है पीटने का. How domestic violence continues. Even a self-educated man beats his wife. He's educated. But why did he do so? Because in socialization he saw that his father had beaten his mother. And he has worshipped mother. So, worshipping की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Respect दे दो बहुत है.
So, but I still didn't get the point.
Yeah.
Why should not one worship mother?
No, respect is that.
It's not like worship, it's idealizing her. So I still don't get it. What was the whole point here?
Equality दे दे. देखो क्या है कि don't give special privileges to anyone. Give equality to everyone. I'm talking about equality in terms of equality. If you treat equally all, society will be more harmonical, more fraternity will be there. But when you will worship someone, at the same time you will demonize someone. When you worship someone, at the same time, what you will do? You will demonize someone. Right? So you love the worshipping and hate the demon things. Fine? And you will start discriminating people. Good idea. थोड़ा बड़ा पता चला? Anyway, now come to fraternity. Let me talk about liberty, equality and fraternity. Let me combine here. Liberty, equality and fraternity. You all know that this slogan has come from French Revolution. मुझे कहने की जरूरत नहीं है. और जस्टिस वाला कहाँ रसिया से आया था? आप मिल जाएगा लक्ष्मीकांत. What I want to say to you here that if you talk about liberty, equality and fraternity in any democracy, what is the pride? What is the core of democracy? And what should be core of the democracy? We are talking about normative concept. Liberty, equality or fraternity? Equality. Yeah. He wants equality first, then liberty. Right? Anyone? Fraternity is a primary core idea for any democracy. If democracy will be a healthy democracy, only if there will be fraternity. Fellowness. Got the idea? Fine. समझ में आया? और इक्वालिटी की बात क्या है? अच्छा, इंटीग्रिटी तो मैंने कह दिया था. अभी हमारे पास टाइम है? कितना टाइम हुआ है? मुझे अभी है ना? अच्छा, मुझे लगा 1:30 बज गया. 1 घंटा है. अच्छा, fine. So fraternity is a core value in any democracy. Fraternity is a core value in any democracy. Right? Until we don't have fraternity, you cannot achieve a healthy democracy. There will be lots of civil war, lots of problems, lots of antagonism. Fine? So I have talked about liberty, equality, fraternity. Forget it. Done. Fraternity, the term fraternity has not been theorized, except one person has theorized little bit, that was Ambedkar. Fine, we consider fraternity is a core value in any democracy. Now, more about fraternity ho gaya. Now we will talk about Supreme Court judgment about preamble, right? Right? Supreme Court judgment लिखिए. Start writing. The Supreme Court dealt with three kinds of question. The Supreme Court dealt with three kinds of question. Three kinds of question. First, whether preamble is a part of Indian Constitution or not. First, whether the preamble is a part of the Constitution or not. Second, whether preamble can be amended or not. preamble can be amended or not. Third, whether preamble is important is important to seek meaning of any article or clause of the Constitution. ये 3 तरह के क्वेश्चन से डील किया था सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने. Whether preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution or not, whether the preamble can be amended or not, whether preamble is important to seek, meaning of any article or clause of the Constitution or not. Right, very case, very union case, very union case. (1960). The Supreme Court had argued that the Supreme Court had argued that preamble is not part of Indian Constitution. Preamble is not part of Indian Constitution. However, it is important and a key to understand the mind of constitutional framework. However, it is important and a key to understand the mind of the constitution framework. देख लिया नाम वर्दे नाम एक बर्डर. ओके बर्डर 2-4 दिन लगेगा टाइम मुझे याद हो गया बर्डर डन. ओके देखिए the Supreme Court borrowed idea from the US judgment in which preamble is not part of the Constitution. The Supreme Court borrowed the idea from US where preamble is not part of the Indian Constitution. अच्छा, बड़ी केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या कहा? बड़ी केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि प्रियम्बल जो है वो पार्ट नहीं है इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का, राइट? बट ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड द की ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फ्रेमवर्क. दिस आइडिया ही ब्रॉट, द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ब्रॉट फ्रॉम द यूएस वेयर if you look at the US, this preamble is not part of the US Constitution. Now write case 1 and Bharti case. This is the first case. Second is case 1 and Bharti case. Supreme Court held that Preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. Preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. Justice H.R. Khanna Preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution. Justice H.R. Khanna argued Preamble works before the Constitution in the US. Preamble works before the Constitution. Preamble works before the Constitution in the US, but it works along with Constitution in India. It works along with the Constitution in India. ठीक है, इंडिया में साथ साथ चलते प्रिएम्बल और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. वहां पर क्या है, वो पहले पहले चलता है, राइट. लाइक ट्रेडिशनल मियाँ बीवी इंडिया का जो रहते हैं, वो क्या बोलते हैं, उसका हस्बैंड आगे और उसकी जो वाइफ होती है पीछे पीछे. नाउ यू कैन सी द मॉडर्न husband wife both work together. In preamble in US, preamble works before the Constitution. In India, it is works along with the Constitution. Fine. The Supreme Court also argued that the Constitution should be interpreted. The Constitution should be interpreted in the light of ideals and novel vision enshrined in the Constitution. Enshrined, E-N-S-H-R-I-N-E, enshrined in the Constitution. It is indispensable, or it is important. It is important to understand article and clause in the shadow of preamble. Right? It is important to understand article and clause in the shadow of preamble. Preamble is an integral part of Indian Constitution. Preamble is an integral part of Indian Constitution. Preamble is an integral part of Indian Constitution. Done. So do you think that 3 questions has been addressed? तीनों क्वेश्चन जो शुरू में लिखा था, whether preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution or not, whether it can be amended or not, right? ये नहीं हुआ ना, whether it can be amended, right? Change the paragraph, right? The Supreme Court argued that केशवानंद भाटी, सारा केशवानंद भाटी का चल रहा है. केशवानंद भाटी का जो very used landmark judgment, yeah, will tell you when I'll teach you Article 368 and then judicial review. दोनों टाइम पे मैं लिखा है. The court argued that the parliament has authority under Article 368. The Parliament has authority under Article 368 to amend any part of the Indian Constitution. To amend any part of the Indian Constitution, including fundamental right and preamble. Including fundamental right and preamble.
Sir, has authority or has no authority?
The Parliament has authority under Article 368 to amend any part of the Indian Constitution, including fundamental right and preamble, but it cannot damage or destroy the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. But it cannot damage or destroy the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Parliament has power under Article 368 to amend any part of the Indian Constitution, and even fundamental right and preamble, but it cannot damage or destroy the basic structure. About basic structure we will do later on. Okay? Now you can see all three questions has been answered. Yeah? Whether Parliament preamble can be amended or not, whether preamble is a part of the Indian Constitution or not, or whether we can look preamble when we understand particular article and clause of the Constitution. What Supreme Court said about this, the third portion, we should look Indian Constitution, any article, any clause in the shadow of preamble, right? The idea and novel vision that has been enshrined in the Constitution. कोई डाउट है तो मुझे बताइए. नहीं, खत्म हो गया preamble. और कुछ पूछना है तो पूछ दो. preamble tag. Now आपको करना क्या है? preamble जो चैप्टर है, कहाँ से, लक्ष्मीकांत से, वो पढ़ लेना है. सेकेंडली एक चैप्टर है जहाँ पे ये चीज यहाँ से बॉरो किया गया है, ये चीज यहाँ से बॉरो किया गया है. That you need to study.
What is the name of that chapter?
Sorry? Name of the chapter, do you have Lakshmikant? Otherwise I'll...
Salient features.
That is salient, not salient. वो गड़बड़ चैप्टर है, इसमें नाम दिया. Salient feature तो fundamental right भी है Constitution का.
पर उसमें वो table
है ना? चैप्टर का नाम है salient features. Salient features of the Constitution. Right? For example, what are the salient features of the Indian Constitution? Even preamble is the salient features of the Indian Constitution. Right? Then you have preamble, which is salient features of the Constitution. Fundamental right, salient feature. DPSP. Here, ये जो parliamentary, basic structure doctrine, ये सब ये है. Then parliamentary system, all are features of the basic,
Basic structure given by this justice HR, right?
No, some secret.
Sorry,
Some secret. He was the head.
actually read.
He was the chair of that time.
Not Khanna.
Not Khanna. Khanna was a part of the bench. Achar Khanna was a part of the bench. SM Sikri was the chair, CGI.
Because in the book it was something else, but in a lot of pieces they have said that.
No. It was a SM Sikri. No audio. Wait 1 minute. What is very case? History में ज़्यादा जाते हो. Wait 1 minute. Let me. हाँ कुछ आइडिया. बेरबरी केस क्या था? अभी जो कोई पूछ रहा है बेरबरी केस क्या था? कोई आइडिया?
That's not about.
कुछ लैंड था जो हमने किसको दे दिया था? बांग्लादेश को. पाकिस्तान, ईस्ट पाकिस्तान को. उसी पे केस था.
Was also a land reform case.
It was a land. It was a multiple thing. We'll teach you multiple thing. Land तो था ही. हाँ.
There was the say that at one point of time, Ishmael Bharti said that I don't know you demand so much and why is my film so popular?
Yeah.
Because his name was only there was this piece of land which was taken from him under the right of.
It was not a piece of land. It was a huge land,
Huge land taken from
right?
from-
And through the Land Reform Act, Kerala has occupied.
Yeah, Kerala.
Anyway, so this chapter now am I audible? Am I audible? Nitin, Harsh, Pooja, Krishma, Anonymous, Sakshi, and everyone. Now second features में आपको क्या करना है? वो कहाँ से इससे कितना बड़ा है? ये चैप्टर पढ़ लेना है सिंपल. फाइन. सब टेबल पढ़ लेना है जो भी है. ठीक है. I'll talk about. I'll start fundamental right. I'll teach you citizenship later. Right? I'll start fundamental right. कोई सवाल है तो? Yes. Any question? किसी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा था? So I think you are not audible. Still, Berry case. Nitin, Berry case actually that came due to since India has transferred some land, right, to the East Pakistan, and there was a case in the Supreme Court whether India can has authority to transfer such land, right? And that was the case actually. उसमें घुसने की जरूरत नहीं है. Democratic liberal का example. Is India positive secularism condition? What is positive secularism, यार? भाई, what is positive negative? Is it COVID-19? पॉजिटिव से बहुत दिमाग खराब हुआ है कोविड के टाइम पे. जिसका भी पॉजिटिव आया, those who were detected positive, they were horrified, isn't it? So what is positive secularism? Giving respect to all religion is not. It is a secularism. There is no division. I taught you negative liberty, positive liberty. That was done by Isaiah Berlin. ठीक है? No, Isaiah Berlin. Right? जिसमिल ने भी नहीं किया था. Anyway, but ऐसा कोई लक्ष्मीकांत में नहीं है. सर लक्ष्मीकांत में मेंशन है. अगर लक्ष्मण मैं देखूंगा फिर मुझे लक्ष्मीकांत ने कहाँ को साइट किया है अपने मन से बता दिया है. लक्ष्मीकांत ने प्रॉपर्ली कॉपी किया है बहुत जगह से. Right?
Negative and positive liberty is concept is not given by JSL. It's not given by JSL.
Isaiah Berlin divided liberty into two parts, that is negative liberty and positive liberty. लक्ष्मीकांत में दूसरे सेंस में होगा पॉजिटिव नोशन ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म, नॉट पॉजिटिव सेक्युलरिज्म. Positive notion of secularism is a different meaning than positive secularism. Fine. Now, so yeah, we have time. अच्छा, fundamental right that we need to talk about. शुरू करें? क्या बहुत हो गया? सर छोड़ दे आज. ऐसा तो नहीं है ना? अच्छा, right का क्या मतलब होता है? Rights का. What do you mean by rights?
अधिकार.
क्या?
सर अधिकार अधिकार
अधिकार मतलब क्या है? हक। मैं बता रहा हूँ हक है। क्या हक है? क्या हक है आपका?
Sir, as a citizen,
As a citizen. Oh, very good. As a citizen, what we have right?
sir, जैसे right to education, right to information,
You have claim. Yeah, you are right. So right is a claim against whom?
State.
Against the state. Rights is a claim against. Wait. Let me write it. Rights has been defined in the three ways. First is right is a claim against a state. है ना? It is a very positive, it is a modern concept. Like liberty, right is a modern concept. ठीक है, इसका फादर कौन है? वो भी है जॉन लॉक. राइट? दूसरा है, आपने सुना है हॉब्स, सब फिलोसफर है. दिस इज अ मॉडर्न कॉन्सेप्ट. मेडावल में क्या था? इंसान के पास राइट्स नहीं था. राइट्स किसके पास थे? राजा के पास. राजा कौन था? राजा स्वामी कौन था? भगवान का दूसरा रूप था. Isn't it? Who had right in medieval time? King. Who was king? King was a representative of God. Right? If you look at 17th, 18th century, there were a philosopher who talks about no, all human beings are equal. It is a nature which has given birth everyone to equal and free, and all have equal right. Right? So, first right is a claim. कौन सा claim है? Against state के against में? You have right to work. You don't have right to work. पुलिस क्या लगा देगी chain? No, you have right to work. You have to right to breathe. You have to right to eat. You have to right to what? Right to live. Right. What about right to marriage? You have right to marry. You have right to do all things, but at the same time, you should not violate the other's right. At the same time. So right is a claim against the state. I am not, आपको पॉलिटी में पढ़ाया जाता है यही, but इसका थोड़ा और मतलब है. It is also claim against family, against society. Right? Indian polity में आपको इतना पढ़ाया जाता है कि it is a claim against the state. You have certain claim against the state. Right? If you can walk, police cannot arrest you. Right? You have right to eat. State cannot direct you कि ये खाओ. दूसरा मतलब है, हाँ मैंने कहा कि स्टेट क्लेम क्यों है सोसाइटी के. मान लीजिए आपने शादी करना चाहा. You are from Bengal but want to marry a girl from Haryana. But Haryana society won't allow it. Right? वो पंचायत बुलाएंगे. Panchayat means purely masculine people will come and then they will declare a war against that Bengali person. We won't allow our daughter to go in Bengal. Right? Our race will be degenerated. It's not dictatorship of society on that girl. If so, because girls wants to marry a boy is from Bengal. Or you can take vice versa example. Right? A boy from Haryana and girl from Bengal. Right? Even society में से कहाँ तुम शादी कर रहे बंगाली से? हाँ, मछली खाएगी, मछली पकाएगी. Right? And we don't eat fish. हरियाणा में ज़्यादातर लोग fish नहीं खाते.
So they don't eat non-veg, sir.
Don't eat non-vegetarian. Yeah. तो fish तो बहुत दूर की बात है. Right? But society will try to impose their own dictatorship. But that boy has a right to marry. he has claim against also society. Sometimes family imposes some lots of restriction. Beta यहाँ शादी मत करना, वहाँ मत करना, इससे मत करना, डर मत जाना. Right is also a claim against family, isn't it? Right? When you try to marry to someone, your family suggests lots of things. Right? But you assure, no, I will marry. So right is a claim also against family. Right? If you look at modernity, it gives priority to individual. If you look at modernity, it gives priority to individual rather than society or state. Modernity gives priority to individual. Now if you look at right is also a set of freedom. It is also defined as a set of freedom. Right? For example, freedom of speech and expression. I have right to, worship. Fine. I have the right to eat whatever I want. I can live a life which I value. Isn't it? Then right is also a set of entitlement. Entitlement. अब ये entitlement का क्या मतलब होता है? Right is a claim against the state. Right is a set of freedom. Right is also a set of entitlement. Right? For example, if I earn, who has honor, who has entitlement over that? Money. Me? Right? So I am entitled to that money. If I am doing something, right, if you are studying a good and if you clear UPSC, who has honors entitlement over that seat? Only you. Right? Right? And if you will get some car, office में मिलता है ना car वगैरह वगैरह, who has entitlement to use this? Only you, not even your family. But लोग क्या करते हैं? सबको entitlement बना देते हैं. फैमिली वाले को बेटा को भी स्कूल भेजना शुरू करते हैं उसी गाड़ी से. नहीं, अरे गार्ड जाओ तो मैडम को सब्जी दिला के लाओ. No. Does it happen or not? It happens. Entitlement is something which you are entitled to. For example, government has given Narega as a policy. You know MG Narega?
Yes.
Right? MG Narega is employment policy, deployed in city, in this rural areas, right? And if you are living in rural area, you are entitled to that right because state has given. Fine. So rights there are three meaning of right. Now, if I talk about three meaning of right, then understand natural right. Natural rights. I told you in the medieval time, who was the source of right? God. There was a divine right theory. God was the source of right. So God has given to Adam. Indian case mein God has given to Manu. Manu has given to Brahmin. Right? Or Kshatriya, whatever, king. Right? And the common people have no right. In European society, it was also idea that there is a God. God has sent to Adam. Adam was the first person on the earth. Right? And king is the inheritor from Adam. So people have no right. Against this divine right theory, one right theory came that is called natural right. Who is the proposer here? Hobbes and Locke. Who said nature has given birth and nature has given right. Equal right to everyone. Right? Nature has given birth to everyone and nature has given equal right to everyone. Equal right to life, liberty and property. इट वॉज अगेंस्ट डिवाइन राइट थियरी। पता चला क्यों नेचुरल राइट थियरी आया? बिकॉज इससे पहले मेडिवल टाइम में डिवाइन राइट थियरी थी, अधिकार नाम का चीज नहीं था। There is no such concept. Society was highly unequal. Right?
So can you please explain the difference between divine right and natural right?
Yeah. Divine right theory, source of right is God. In divine right theory, who is the source of right? God. So God gave right to Adam, and Adam gave right to the prince, and prince gives right to this person. He is appointed this aristocrat. Right? So God has given, थोड़ा सा मुझे बस कैसे मुझे, मान लीजिए गॉड ने किसको भेजा? एडम को भेजा। एडम ने प्रिंस को भेजा। प्रिंस ने क्या क्या 4 लोगों को अपॉइंट कर दिया। अब इन्हीं के पास राइट है, और या ये जिनको अपॉइंट करेंगे उन्हीं के पास राइट है। कॉमन मासेस हैज नो राइट। राइट? एंड दे गॉड इज सोर्स ऑफ राइट। गॉट द आइडिया? डिवाइन राइट थ्योरी में गॉड के पास अल्टीमेट अथॉरिटी है। गॉड हैज मेड दिस वर्ल्ड। इवन हम इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बोलते हैं ना, किसने ब्रह्म को बनाया? ब्रह्मा। राइट? एंड द गॉड सेंट मनु टू द अर्थ, राइट? एंड मनु कोडिफाइड द लॉ, एंड यू हैव टू फॉलो द लॉ। मनुस्मृति। Similarly, God has sent to Adam, right? And there is a prince, there are many princes, still this prince, and then this prince has appointed many persons, aristocratic family, aristocratic portion. So they have rights, people have no right. People have to follow them. It is a highly unequal society and without rights. Now you come to the natural right, you know, they rejected the idea of divine right theory. God has made this. Right? उसने कहा कि एक तो पहली बात ये है कि God has not made this earth. They believe in, you know, something called कौन था वो? Darwin's theory. There is a, you know, there is a succession of history. Right? Origin of the species is not God. There are people have survived. There is a history of human civilization. Right? So, मान लीजिए गॉड तो एक्चुअली क्रिएट नहीं किया, मान लीजिए गॉड ने क्रिएट कर भी दिया, तो उसने एडम को सारे राइट्स नहीं दिए। पहले मैं रेफ्यूट करता हूं इसको, तब मैं नेचुरल राइट बताऊंगा। एडम को सारे नेचुरल राइट नहीं दिए। मान लीजिए एडम को सारे नेचुरल राइट दे भी दिए, इसने कोई सेट ऑफ रूल है क्या इसने ट्रांसफर कर दिया इस प्रिंस को? There is no set of rules. मान लीजिए ये भी मान लीजिए कि एडम ने इसको पावर ट्रांसफर कर दी सारा राइट्स, राइट? बट अभी जो टाइम है यहाँ पर तो बहुत सारे किंग है। हु आर द ओरिजिनल हायर? 16th सेंचुरी की बात कर रहा हूं मैं, बहुत सारे प्रिंस थे पूरी दुनिया में। हु इज द ओरिजिनल हायर ऑफ एडम? वी कांट आइडेंटिफाई। टू whom should we follow? Right? So God is not a source of authority, right, or rights. It is a nature who produced man, and man is equal in worth. Right? Men are equal. Moment की बात नहीं करते वे लोग. Men are equal and free, and they have equal rights. They have rights. Right? Locke said rights to life, liberty, and property. And property. Nature has given life, nature has given liberty, nature has also given property. अच्छा, डिवाइन राइट थ्योरी में प्रॉपर्टी क्या था? सारा चीज ईश्वर का है। Right? Everything belongs to the God. It means everything belongs to the king. Right? So you don't claim on any property. किसका है ये? King का है, prince का है। इसने कहा कि नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। Property is a product of your labor. इसने कहा property is a product of labor. मान लीजिए मैं अभी इतना मेहनत कर रहा हूँ, मुझे दिहाड़ी मिलेगी शाम को कुछ, राइट? टू whom you know that property will have authority? It will belong to me, right? So they said no, property is a product of labor rather than God. Got the idea? Natural right and divine right. No? So natural right is all human being. Nature has produced all human being and they all have right. Acha. Right to life है, right to life is very much integral to right to food, right to walk. These all are natural right. Right? Right to walk, right to speech, right to speak. और कौन कौन सा होगा natural right? Think of sleep. It is a natural right. Nobody can take it away. है ना? घर पे बोल के देखना. ठीक है? 9 बजे तक सोना, फिर मम्मी को बोलना I have natural right to sleep. They will show you, she will tell you कितना natural right है तुम्हारे पास. What idea? Natural right.
Yes, sir.
Now, if it is clear, natural right, then there are some point that is called legal right. Legal rights. What are legal rights? Any rights that is given by the state law. A set of rights. इसका definition क्या होगा natural right का? A set of rights provided by the nature. Natural right का क्या definition होगा? A set of rights provided by nature, like right to life, liberty, property. प्रॉपर्टी चोरी किया हुआ लेबर नहीं बोलोगे, किसी का चोरी कर लिया हमने भी तो उसमें लेबर किया, नो, राइट? मेहनत करके अगर आपने प्रॉपर्टी एक्विजिशन की है, if you have acquired your property through your labor, that's your property. It's purely your property. Nobody can take it away. Progressive taxation के against me, huh? So a set of rights provided by the nature, like right to life, liberty, property, right to sleep, food, work, speak, all are natural rights. A legal right, you can say here, a set of rights provided by the law, like right to education, right to information, etc. Right to employment. लीगल राइट क्लियर है नेचुरल राइट से? ठीक है, चलो लीगल राइट क्लियर है तो व्हाट इज मोरल राइट? What are moral rights? Have you heard about moral rights?
Yeah.
What is that?
Not to litter public property, or that's not right.
What is the meaning of moral? What is the meaning of moral? The word meaning moral?
Values.
Yeah, Amber, you're right. Manrega will be legal right. ठीक है. हाँ, moral का क्या मतलब है? नितिन जवाब दो. साक्षी, शुभम, कृष्णा. What do you mean by moral? क्या हाँ? आप सबने अंग्रेजी मीडियम में पढ़ा होगा. क्या होता है? जोर से बोलो, मैं थोड़ा सुनता कम हूँ. नैतिक. हाँ, तो वो हिंदी में है नैतिक. नैतिक का मतलब क्या है हिंदी में बताइए? Moral is righteousness.
What is righteousness?
What is righteousness? What is good? What is correct? What is right? All are moral. For example, there may be legal right or legal law that cannot be morally correct. For example, IPC 377. Right? For example, sedition law. There are sedition law, but there are scholars who are talking about it is not moral. We should not keep a colonial law into a democratic country. Right? So a set of law, for a good society. Right? So a right, a moral right will be always a good right. तो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि एक लड़के को 3 शादी करना है मान लो. Is polygamy right? आप कह सकते हो कि it should be moral right? No. Even morality differs. It differs from the value to value that you are talking about. The morality value differs from society to society. Morality differs from religion to religion. Morality differs from person to person. When you say constitutional morality, it means right, good, correct as per the constitution. When you see public morality, it means morality as per public. Public may say something which may not be constitutionally correct. For example, do you know gay marriage? Is it legalized in India? Why is it so? Public morality does not allow. Right? Even, homosexuality was a crime in India. Why is it so? Because public morality. Right? So, even morality right. Now come to fundamental right. What is fundamental right? जिसको बात अभी हम करेंगे. What is fundamental right? हाँ, fundamental rights को कैसे define करेंगे? देखिए, a set of rights which are fundamental in nature. To live a good life. A good life or dignified life. Without it, a human cannot develop their full potential. A set of rights which are fundamental in nature to live a good life or dignified life. Without which a human cannot develop their full potential. Right? So a set of rights, fundamental rights in US may be different, fundamental right in India may be different. Right? So Indian Constitution provides some rights which can be fundamental in nature. Not all right, but some rights which are fundamental in nature without which individual cannot live a good life, a dignified life, a respectful life, right? he or she cannot develop their full potential, cannot be called human or human. Right? So if you look at fundamental right, there are 6 fundamental rights that has been classified in Indian Constitution. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. There are 6 fundamental rights that have been recognized by the Indian Constitution, by the Indian Constitution. अच्छा 6 राइट क्या है जो ऑल नहीं पता है, बताऊं अभी तो बताएंगे ही, इससे पहले थोड़ा सा एक और बात कर लेते हैं. We will talk about right to equality, right to freedom जो भी है, हाँ, right against exploitation जो भी. So चलिए कि दिखाई दो नहीं, अभी जब शुरू करेंगे ना फिर से तब बात करेंगे. Got the idea? Fundamental right.
Yes.
How does it different from moral right? How does it different from natural right? How does it different from legal right? So Narega is a legal right, right? Right to employment. Now, what is human right? What is human rights?
So rights of the basic human being.
Hmm?
Rights of the basic human being.
Human rights are natural rights.
It could be natural also. Could be natural. How can we define fundamental right? Amber, Puja, Rishabh, Sakshi, Shubham. बहुत लोग तो चले जाते हैं. Abhay, Adira, others. How can you define fundamental right? Sorry, human right. Human right.
So rights against evil conduct. I mean wrong conduct.
It is a mix of fundamental rights and moral rights.
और मतलब थोड़ा जाने दो origin पे, जो मैं सुनना चाहता हूँ.
Rights जो हमको animals
नेसेसिटी फॉर डेवलपमेंट है, कोई 9-10 का एनसीईआरटी नहीं पढ़ा है, वो ठीक है, वो 3 गेट में काम आता है. सर मशीन क्या है, तो सर वो चेन का दिखा रहा है, सर ये भी मशीन है. नो, सी देयर आर United Nations General Assembly that declared UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This declares a set of rights irrespective of all individual, right? Irrespective for all individual, irrespective of class, caste, sex, nationality, all. And that set of rights is called human rights. Even it may be fundamental also, it may be natural also, it may include legal also, it may include moral also. On December 10, 1948, United Nations General Assembly, declared Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Right? It has preamble and 30 articles. And all 30 articles talks about a set of rights that is called human rights. Fine. क्यों डिक्लेयर किया गया बता ही देता हूँ. आपको पता है कि सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर में बहुत कुछ हुआ. Second World War has produced a new category of population, that is stateless population. Have you heard about stateless population?
Yes.
For example, give me an example. If you have heard about a stateless population,
So before World War II, Jews are an example.
Jew was the example. Yeah, very good. Now currently,
So the Palestinians, Rohingya.
Rohingya. Yeah, very good. Rohingya. So the Second World War produced a stateless population, a population who has no state. Right? For example, Rohingya, neither Myanmar is accepting them, nor Bangladesh is accepting them, nor India is able to accept them. Right? They had no state. They are the population without a state. Right? Now I told you rights is a claim against a state. Since they don't have a state, do they have right or not? Do they have right or not?
They have basic human rights.
Basic human rights. So ये basic human rights कौन बोलता है? It's a UDHR which declares a set of rights for everyone. Right? So Second World War produced a stateless population like Jew. Right? Like Rohingya today. और ह्यूमन राइट्स ऐसा नहीं कि मेरे पास ह्यूमन राइट्स है, आपके पास तो फंडामेंटल राइट है भाई, ह्यूमन राइट तो है ही, राइट? ऐसा नहीं कि बीइंग राइट, एंड राइट्स आर प्रिजर्व्ड बिकॉज दे बिलीव दैट बीइंग ह्यूमन सर्टेन राइट्स शुड बी प्रिजर्व्ड. राइट? इन यूडीएचआर तो थोड़ा लिखिए ह्यूमन राइट्स क्या है. अ सेट ऑफ राइट्स recognized on December 10, 1948 by the United Nations General Assembly. United Nations General Assembly through Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Of human rights, called as human rights. Called as human rights. Right? This UDHR has preamble and 30 articles. The UDHR is a hatch, preamble and 30 articles. 1 to 30 articles. Right? And the preamble starts with "We the people of United Nations." Similarly, Indian preamble. Right? So these are the human right. वो ठीक है, human being human right है, but कहाँ से आया? What is source? How can you identify for whom it is necessary? It is necessary for specifically stateless people. आपके पास तो है rights, हमारे पास जो citizen है यहाँ पर और citizen नहीं भी है, उसके पास भी rights है. But stateless people, those who have no state, human rights are primarily recognized from them. Fine?
Even for prisoners, I think.
क्या?
Prisoners,
Yeah, prisoners.
in that case,
Prisoners में बहुत right है prisoners के पास. Article 21 जाइए.
they also have human rights of coming.
Human right तो basic चीज है. See, अगर आप stateless people को दे सकते हैं, तो prisoners को नहीं क्यों नहीं दे सकते? That is you can argue कि when certain rights are recognized for example everyone, then prisoners comes within everyone, na? Prisoners, poor, apartment dwellers, सबके पास rights है. Basic rights तो सबके पास recognized है भाई. Right? So you call it in language you use it, but in concept it is totally that थोड़ा सा अलग है. ये कॉन्सेप्ट ऐसे इवॉल्व हुआ है, बट यू यूज इट इन वॉर. ओके, prisoners have human right, man has human right, payment dwellers have human rights, right? Urban dwellers, slum people have human rights. सबके पास rights है. Fine. So tomorrow I'll talk about the term state. I'll stop here. Today we talked about different version of rights.
Sir, during World War, Sir, Hitler is regarded as the most evil person who massacred 6 million Jews. But Winston Churchill
1
massacred...
million कम कर दो, 5 million.
Sir,
1 million कम कर दो, 5 million. Yeah.
Sir, but Winston Churchill, he artificially created the Bengal famine which killed 4 million people. So why is he considered a war hero? Why Hitler is considered a war villain?
Who considered war hero?
Sir, Winston Churchill is considered as one of the greatest leaders.
हाँ, I know Winston Churchill, but who depicted war hero to whom?
Most I am saying that Winston Churchill is considered as one of the greatest leaders at that time. But he artificially created the Bengal famine in India
I know.
and killed 4 million people. So why is the history so biased?
The history of hunter will never write the history of the hunt. The historian of hunter will never write the history of the hunt. First thing. Right? It depends on whose historian is this. Who wrote history? Of course, the Winston Churchill's people. Right? Secondly, हिटलर के बारे में क्या बोला? 5 मिलियन मारा तो
वो दिखाता है कि he is very wrong करके, but
वो गलत नहीं था.
no sir, वो I agree he is wrong.
हाँ.
Sir, Winston Churchill को hero करके दिखा रहे हैं.
Winston Churchill was, who said, yes, he was a great leader, Winston Churchill, and 20th century, हिटलर क्या था कभी और बताऊंगा, ठीक है? थोड़ा उसके गैस चैम्बर के बारे में पढ़ के आना, अगर उसको जानना है, थोड़ा कंसंट्रेशन कैंप के बारे में
पता है.
हाँ?
पता है सर.
पता है? तो how he was different from the earlier regime, right?